You know there's 18 different ways you can cross a T? Does your writing go straight up and down? Does it shift to the left? Does it move to the right? Is it a series of jagged chainsaws or a series of arcades and curves? Are you trustworthy of other people, or does it take you time to really get to know them? Are you the kid in class who throws your hand up and has an answer even before the teacher can finish the question? Or were you the kid like me who stood at the leaned back a little bit like this with my arms crossed? I didn't say much, but when I did, I had thought through that answer very carefully over time. You can see how compatible you are. Why do you get along with some people at school or at work, and other people you don't really see eye to eye? Well, guess what? It's not personal. Those are some qualities that you both have. And tonight, we're going to look at 8 of those personality traits. Professor Norgate asked you to write on that sheet, so everyone's written on that sheet, right? Perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do is, as we go through these, I want you to look at your writing and look up here and see what traits you may have in common with some of the most extraordinary leaders of all time. You ready to go? Here we go. What's the first thing you notice about each of these 3 signatures? What do you notice about the direction? Just call it out. It's going up to the right. Whose writing goes up to the right? Let's go. There you go. If your writing goes up to the right, you have something in common with iconic designer Vera Wang, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, and Yankee slugger Roger Maris. And hold your shirt up. Other way. That is the sign of the optimist. You see, optimists see the opportunity in every crisis. You have a muscular calm in the face of trying circumstances. In your darkest hour on your team, you're the one who searches for the light. Harvard researchers did a study and they said, what is optimism? And can we develop it? They said it's a combination of an energy that's warmth, passion, trust, and sincerity. And they said that when you meet a person for the first time, you have 2 questions that come in your mind for the most part. Can I trust you? Can I respect you? Now, which one comes first? Trust, respect. Trust. And you know what the point there is? You need to show me your warmth before your competence. You need to show people your warmth before your competence. Now, Martin Seligman, a pioneer of positive psychology, said that within 2 hours of stepping into a room when you meet people, including texts, emails, and FaceTime, you have contagious emotions. So my question to you is, what emotions are you putting out there in your work? Are they optimistic? Are they pessimistic? Now here's the thing. He said the ideal form of optimism is optimism tempered with realism. So not to be happy all the time just for the sake of it, because that can be a little bit annoying, and it may not be sincere. He said, look at problems on problems' terms, but always have a positive, dynamic belief that you are going to solve that problem, even within a team. Now, this idea was reinforced for me recently with my 4.5-year-old daughter, Maya, because we usually go to gymnastics on Saturday mornings, and she was sick one day. So I said, sweetie, we can stay home and color. So we were coloring cupcakes and rainbows, and I said to her, isn't it amazing that we get to spend time just daddy and daughter the whole morning and maybe one day not do gymnastics? And she looks up at me mid-Crayola, and she says, Daddy, I know that already, but life is not all cupcakes and rainbows. Don't you know that? And she reinforced a humbling lesson for me, for her daddy. Optimism needs to be tempered with realism. Now, how can we develop this optimism almost immediately? There turns out there's one way, and Stanford University had their first-year psychology students do the following. Every morning for one semester, they had them write specific questions answering how they're grateful. Not generally, what are you grateful for? Oh, weather, my parents, like the usual. Specific things such as, what's an old relationship who you value? What are you happy about what happened yesterday that you experienced or you witnessed? what's an opportunity tomorrow? And do you know what happened? There was an increase, 22% increase in productivity with those students, meaning their marks increased across all their different classes. Not only that, but they said there was 40% higher life satisfaction scores. So one way to develop more optimism is write a specific gratitude journal in the morning. What's the next thing you notice about this trait? These three signatures, the top three, have one distinguishing feature. What is it? Yes, thank you very much. There's a line underneath. And the last one has a Roman numeral 1. That's an I. So if you look at your writing, if you have a top and a bottom underneath that line, that stem, who has that in the writing? A line underneath the writing or someone else? Come on this side. Who has it? If you have that in your writing, you have something in common with artist Pablo Picasso, CEO of Pepsi, Indra Nooyi, and martial artist Bruce Lee. And that is the sign of the self-reliant. You see, Thoreau said in his classic paper, SelfReliance, self-reliance is knowing thyself. It's being independent of the good or bad opinion of other people because you have your own back. You're the person at work who, when someone says, can you make sure this is done, you're the one who goes off and gets it done. You really don't need much help. If you have this, that's you? That's you? Yeah, that's you too? Yeah, me too, a little bit too. Now, if you have self-reliance, it's a gift. Be careful, though, with self-reliance, that other people think that you're not vulnerable or that you're too distant. So it's a gift, but make sure that you tell your leader or your boss or the people you work with what you're doing, what you're up to, and ask them for input as well. So it's a gift, but a gift can also become a liability if it's overextended. Now, how do you work with self-reliant teams? The University of Northwestern did a study, and they found that when you define the roles and responsibilities of every member of the team, not only does the self-reliant person work well, but everybody understands when they know what they're supposed to be doing and the expectations are clear, as well as everyone else on the team. So knowing what other people are doing, not in a nosy way, helps with no overlap between jobs. And the top 1% of leaders ask the question to their team as well. So it's not just asking your team, here's what you're supposed to be doing. You ask your team, what do you expect of me to do your job in the best way possible? So that is one way. Do you know about the 2 pizza rule? Amazon has a rule that if you can't feed your team with 2 pizzas, your team's too big. Okay? So keep your team small and define the roles and responsibilities to develop a self-reliant team and bring out the best in those people. How many people are writing that's so big it takes up the whole card? Put your hands up. Really, really big writing. Or you have a really big first letter compared to the other letters. Put your hand up, put your hand up, put your hand up. I need to see it. Really tall, really tall. Look at those people, look at those people, look at those people. Those are the egomaniacs in the room, everybody.